Hey, where you at right now? You reside at SD?
I'm home right now. Actually, I'm in my studio. This is my studio. This is where I do all my, as they say, where the magic happens.
Yeah,
so
San Diego, right? San Diego. Hometown?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. San Diego. I was in Texas for quite some time, bro. But a lot of people, thought that I was originally from there. I think when my career kind of took off was when I was living in Texas.
Yeah.
But I'm originally a Cali boy, born in Tijuana, raised here in San Diego.
Yeah, that's a true like Mexican American story right there. From Tijuana living in San Diego.
Yeah, the moving and jumping around and trying to go where you can catch a fire, man. And so that was me. That was me moving around, trying to figure it all out.
Now, what I like to do on my chats, I like to especially with an artist like you who has a lot of history and knowledge of the game and a background that a lot of people may not know, just throughout the time. I want you to take me back to that one time, to that one essence, or whatever location you were at, where that sparked for you, that flame, ese fuego, te prendió, to start making music. When Frankie J was like, "Yo, this is what I'm going to do now."
Well, you know what? That's actually a really good setting to kick off the interview because, bro, I still remember to this day where I was and the situation that was happening, everything that was kind of happening during that day, how it all began for me. I was a sophomore in high school, 15 years old, man, and contemplating about singing because I really love singing, love music. That's been all my, since I was a kid. But I do remember being in school during lunchtime, performing for the very, very first time in front of a live audience. And also my peers, I remember being super freaking nervous and scared because a lot of my friends knew I could sing, but I didn't know how my peers were going to receive me. And the reason why I did this lunch, it was a lunchtime performance.
Yeah.
And not my teacher, but he was the ASB advisor. And he was, the main person there that would take care of entertainment, like music and stuff that would, activities that would happen during school, for the lunchtime hour or 30 minutes that we had. And he asked me, he goes, "Hey, Frankie, I know you can sing. You want to be the show for lunchtime?" And I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. Not knowing what kind of responsibility that was, And so long story short, man, 15 years old, went in and performed in front of my peers and the freaking crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, the dawning moment that said to me, you need to be doing this more often.
Right.
And especially the reaction of the girls.
Right. Yep. Keep it lit. That's right.
That right there was And I was 15 years old, recording and writing my own music already, due to the fact that I had, luckily, thank God, I had friends from my older brother, who's 4 years older than me. I had friends that were doing freestyle production, freestyle music. I don't know if you remember freestyle music, like Stevie, George Lamond, of course, the Cover Girls, Sweet Sensation. I mean, you name it. And so I was into that style of music at such a young age. So I was writing that style of music, and I was recording in a 4-track Tascam with a microphone. I think it was a 57 microphone, Shure microphone, in a 4-track Tascam, and using the only reverb that Tascam 4-track had, which was a humongous reverb, hallway reverb-ish, whatever. So anyway, I was performing some of those songs, and just the reaction of the people, of my peers, was the spark.
Right.
So 15, this was 1990. Oh my gosh, 1993.
Okay.
It's lunchtime in Southwest High School, bro.
There you go. That's where the legend started, bro. That's where it started.
That's where it all began.
So from there, you took off, you started your career, you started, taking this serious professionally. What were some obstacles that you obviously overcame, but what were some obstacles that you saw and, maybe other people are going through them right now, the artists, and they could hear your story on that?
Well, here's how it all kind of went down for me. Like, I always thought of myself as a artist, as a single artist.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning stages, I had to become a part of something in order for me to venture out and do later what I wanted to do. So in the very beginning, I thought this is how, naive I was too. Like as a kid, I was like, well, I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to be a superstar and I'm just going to do it the way that I want to do it. No, that was not the case. That wasn't at all what had to happen. First, I had to be a part of something in order for me to do what I'm doing today. So mind you, I joined the group. This was the beginning of it all, as far as the professional, career. I joined a group called the Cumbia Kings.
Yep.
Cumbia.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm so used to listening to hip hop, R&B, freestyle, dance, all the stuff that a young kid basically, lives, thinks, and breathes, right? And so I'm over here saying, why do I got to join a group called the Cumbia Kings? Like, it's cumbia music. I love cumbia. I dance it only in quinceañeras. I dance it only in weddings and, house parties, with my abuelitos and abuelitas or whatever, uncles and aunts, but not knowing that that's what I needed to do. And so when I was approached about the opportunity, I thought about it for a quick second. And then I said to myself, if I don't do this now, when is the next opportunity going to come? So I guess what I'm trying to say is I thought that I knew what I was going to do right off the top,
Yeah.
But it wasn't the case. And that was something that I had to get over. I was kind of in a bittersweet spot. But knowing that it was still an opportunity for me, I took it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do this no matter what. Like, I feel like if I don't jump on this opportunity, I don't know when that other opportunity is going to come.
Right.
And so when I did, I was very glad and happy that I did, because it was the beginning of my musical career. Yeah. And I was only 21. I was fresh out of high school, going into 1 year of college. And I was like, well, I'm 21. I'm working, regular jobs. My dream is to become, a musician, an artist, a singer. I got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That was where it all began. So, and then later on, of course, other things started happening and other obstacles started coming on board. So, yeah.
But you had in mind that you kind of knew, like, okay, I did this, I can overcome this other obstacle too. And you also adjusted, like you said, you were influenced by hip hop and R&B, and you were like, cumbia, like, I don't usually do this, I don't do this, but you adapted to it. So as an artist, adaptation, it's important.
Correct. And I think that was, for me, that was the mature part of me at that time, that I understood that that's where I had to be. Like, it was a chance of a lifetime. Like, you don't ever wake up in the morning and say, today I'm going to get an opportunity by, at that time, Selena's brother, he's going to call me today. We're going to have a great conversation and we're going to talk music. And no, I mean, I was very mature at that moment. When I took that opportunity, I was like, you know what, this is something. There's a reason why I'm getting this opportunity. I got to take this.
Right.
And I was not like, I need this and I need that, although I did. One thing that I did do was was, when I was talking with, AB, Selena's brother, he asked me, he goes, how much do you make a week? And so at the time, I was my last job was working at a hotel it was a separate company called Swank Audio. I don't know if it exists anymore. It probably doesn't. But it was a company that was setting up sound systems for big, huge corporations that were coming in and doing, meetings and assemblies and gathers and stuff at the hotel where I was working at. It was called the Hotel del Coronado. Really, really famous hotel here in San Diego. It has a lot of history.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Is it like an island?
It's like a little island. And it's right in front of the water, right in front of the beach. I mean, Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe. You name it. Some of the greatest, superstars have stayed in this hotel. Yeah. And it's got a lot of history, from the 50s to 60s. And some say that it's even haunted. It's like haunted. I used to work there, but I never ever got to see any ghosts. Thank God. But it was a cool experience, because I was working for this company called Swank Audio, and I was setting up sound systems, for all these, major corporations and stuff. And so, but, back to the conversation with AB, I told him, I said, listen, I do make $400 a week. That's what I'm making. And he was like, perfect. We can make that happen. I was like, cool. So that was like another way of saying, like, you know what, if I am going to step out of my home and I'm going to venture off into a place where I don't know anybody, I have to make ends meet. I got to figure out how to eat and how to put clothes on my skin and figure out where to live. So luckily and thankfully, he was very, kind and understanding of me leaving my house to come to a place where I didn't know anybody and be able to take care of me. So he did do that. And then afterwards, things started to change. So that's a different story.
Nah, for sure. You probably got a lot of stories, man. Like, it's a movie for you right here.
Oh, yeah, man. I feel like one day, man, hopefully, if God wills it, bro, like, I definitely do want to do like a documentary or some kind of something that's going to, tell the world about the stuff that I had to go through, being Mexicano, dipping into the R&B world, which is not common. It's not a very common thing, so for me, it was like, I don't know, like, it's like a needle in a haystack. Like you don't know, it's such a tough thing to do. Yeah. And so
did you receive a lot of like backlash on that, or people were like,
a lot of backlash.
What are you doing? Like,
Yeah, I did get a lot of backlash, especially because, you're coming from a group that is always in Mexico.
Sí.
And you're doing nothing but cumbia. I mean, yeah, we're singing some pop records and, some English stuff here and there when we were touring. Even in Mexico, we were singing some English songs. But like in the States too, we were doing a lot of English, records. We were doing Earth, Wind and Fire records. We were doing Selena records. We were doing, oh my gosh, a little bit of everything, to mix it up. Yeah. But then venturing off into doing the solo thing and then now saying, I'm going to do some R&B music. It's like, what? What are you doing? Why would you want to stick to what stick to what you're having success with? Why you jump off into doing a whole different genre when you don't even know what's going to happen?
Like, Primo, you're a cumbia king. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you're Mexican. I bet. You sing cumbia. You need to stay with cumbia. Stick to what you know and what's making you some bread. But I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do something different. Like, I know what this feels like already. I want to know what this feels like over here.
Right.
So it was
What helped you take that push to hip hop and R&B?
I don't know, bro. To be honest with you, to this day, I don't. I felt confident that that by building a fan base with the Cumbia Kings, with the group, I felt like they were going to support me, and I felt like I needed to do something more. I felt like I was feeling, good about what I had done with the group. I felt accomplished, but I also felt that there was more out there to get from,
Right.
And for me, pop R&B has always been a huge part of me.
Yeah.
I wanted to try it out. And I remember saying to myself, I said, look, if this doesn't work out, then you can always go back to what you're used to,
You had a backup plan. Yeah, you had that. You had that cushion. Yeah.
I think you have to always have at least some kind of an idea if something doesn't go as planned.
Yeah.
But thankfully, man, the fans did back me up. And they were like, I remember, man, my very first show, when I started, doing the R&B stuff, and, the song that hit at the time was a song called Don't Want to Try.
Come on, my guy.
And I just remember, man, going to El Paso for the first time after leaving the group and filling up this whole entire club of nothing but screaming fans. These girls that were just dying to hear the song live. And I remember it's a ballad. It's a ballad. Like, who's going to want to come and, go crazy for a ballad? But man, I mean, even then I had my doubts, but I still felt like I got to do this,
Yeah. And let me tell you, bro, like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me tell you.
Oh, it's all good.
Those songs, like I told you earlier, before we started the interview, like, those songs, like, impacted, bro. You made an impact in so many people's lives, including myself. Like, it's timeless, bro. Like, I can hear those songs and then be like, I know where I was at, and be like, yeah, I was right there. I had my Walkman. All this stuff. Like, it takes me back to a time. I'm like, yeah, this music it's timeless, bro. It's music.
When you're able to hear a song and it makes you remember of where you were at, who you were with, what you were doing, and you reminisce, and you're just like, man, those are the good old days. Thinking about the music that you started to really appreciate, and you're just like, wow, man, I remember that. And I feel fortunate, man, that I do get a lot of fans that come up to me and say, man, thank you for helping me. I had a really bad relationship back when I was this age, and I was with so-and-so, and it helped me through the lyrics that you wrote on Don't Want to Try. Help me get out of this crazy situation. I'm like, wow, isn't that amazing how certain songs can be also very therapeutical for you?
Definitely.
And also can guide you through a way out. Or a way in, to someone's life or out of someone's life.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of music,
And Don't Want to Try it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the video too. You had Vida Guerra in the video.
No, Vida was actually Obsession.
Obsession. There you go. My bad.
Yeah, that was Obsession. I think Don't Want to Try. The girl that was in this video, her name was Maya. I think that was her name, Maya. A beautiful girl.
Yeah.
A beautiful girl. And it was the very first time experiencing for myself dealing with a big production alone.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was back then when videos were like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The big budgets, bro. The big cans, everything big.
I want to say we spent about $400,000 on that video on just to try.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a huge production. It was at the Los Altos Hotel in LA, and it was a hotel where, here I go again, back to Frank Sinatra. Like, Frank Sinatra used to stay at this hotel because they look like apartments.
Okay.
These rooms, they look like apartments. But yeah, I remember, man, that it was the very first big like music video, and I was like blown away because this was all like for this little kid that was just beginning, his career as an artist.
Definitely.
So it was fun.
Yes, a lot of things have changed, and I mean, you've done a great job of staying relevant and staying on it. With some great collaborations, on music. For you, like, what did you do to adapt to the new era of music? Because from that time to now, things have changed dramatically, from streaming to creativity and everything, you know. So how have you adapted to the new times?
I think for me, the way that I've been able to do it is just staying consistent.
Okay.
Adapting to the world of music and change. I think one thing that is important is to remain consistent with your music, putting out content.
Yeah,
that's something that helps us all as artists to stay relevant and to stay idle to our fans, because the moment you stop putting out music, your fans start thinking, oh, did he die, or or did he just, just is he not doing music anymore? But thankfully, with the digital platforms now, we can also utilize those digital platforms to be in the faces of our fans and be in front of them. And it allows us to have, more communication, I guess, in a way, because all the like Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Twitters have allowed us to get kind of closer to our fans.
Yeah.
And say, hey, look, we're still here. We haven't gone away. I mean, you still hear our music on the radio, might not hear the newer stuff on the radio, but you still hear all of our classic hits on the radio. But check this out. This is an album that we're putting out, so-and-so year or so-and-so date.
Yeah.
And you guys can check it out. But yeah, I think that the consistency has been a big factor of staying relevant. You know?
And speaking of consistency, you dropped an album, Canciones que Recuerdo. Talk to me about that, and the inspiration of, recreating those songs and, and the idea behind the album.
Here we are talking about R&B music, and now we're talking about mariachi and boleros on this album.
Bro, your career is dope. It's dope. I mean, culture. That's our culture, especially being from Cali. Like on the West Coast, it's myself, a lot of people, we listen to cumbia, rancheras, and then
everything.
And then our players could switch to like Tupac, Too Short, YG, the news. Like we listen to everything out here. So I mean, you're the clear example.
It's like a big old melting pot of music,
Yeah.
But with Canciones que Recuerdo, my business partner and I, Charles Chavez, we've been on and off communicating, talking about putting something together. Charles was my ex-manager. He was a manager that did a lot for me. We did a lot together and had a lot of success together. So, we had a time where we stopped working, and then we got back together again, worked again, and then we stopped. And now this is like our, how do you say, the third time's a charm. So we got together and we kind of talked about a standard project, meaning covers. He did tell me, he goes, Frankie, you're at a point in your career where you can do this now. Like, you can actually pull it off, do a whole project of nothing but standards, but think about what you want to do to put it out. So that way it's you, and it's something that comes from you. It's not just, let's just put out an album of nothing but, remakes, and then that's it. You're going to have all these hits. No, that was never the case. So I think we had to really strategize on what we wanted to do. And so when he said that to me, it kind of hit me, and I was like, you know what? I've always been wanting to hear myself singing boleros, singing behind a mariachi.
Yeah.
Or in front of a mariachi, I should say. And hearing my voice with some of these classic songs that, these big artists and writers have written, for our culture. And so I started thinking about like Juan Gabriel, and I even thought about like Marco Antonio Solís. I thought about Jose Alfredo Jimenez. I thought about, Rocío Dúrcal, and all these different artists that were humongous artists.
Icons.
Iconic, right?
Yeah. And
that means something to me, because as a kid, I remember hearing their songs growing up with our parents and grandparents and everybody, like our family. So came up with recording a song called La Farsante. which is from Juan Gabriel. Maybe not one of his most popular songs, but definitely a popular song. And so I remember going for a jog in my neighborhood here, and this was about 2 years ago. And I just said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I have to do this right, because there's no way of making any errors with this one, because you know how our culture is, like we're super opinionated, like
yeah.
something like no tiene voz ese vato.
Yeah. Somos bien criticones, bro.
Somos bien criticones. And so I said, man, and for me, I love challenges. So
yeah,
and I know that Juan Gabriel, rest in peace, had this really high range vocal, really strong voice, beautiful songs, beautiful lyrics. Mm-hmm. So La Farsante came to mind, and I was listening to it on my headsets, and I was like, man, I got to do this one. And that's how it all kind of started evolving, the project, from that song.
Right.
I recorded everything in this studio, in this little small room, this little tiny room. I did everything here, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 songs. I think El Triste was recorded in a place called, it was in Tornillo, Texas, a place called Sonic Ranch.
Yeah.
Very, very famous studio now. It's been around for over 30 years. I recorded El Triste there, and then I recorded by Jose Jose, and then I recorded Buenos Amigos, my part, on the duet that I did with this very, very beautiful girl named Lupita Infante, which is the granddaughter.
Infante.
Daughter of Pedro Infante,
okay.
Julia, granddaughter of Pedro Infante.
Okay.
So it was truly an honor, man, to be able to do that and record with her and get her here in this studio. Her and her husband came over, and we recorded this duet called Buenos Amigos. So the whole album is full of nothing but classics, songs that from José Luis Perales, Y Cómo Es Él.
Yeah.
Javier Solís, El Mi Viejo San Juan, José Alfredo Jiménez, El Rey, which is an iconic. What song? I mean, who doesn't know that song, El Rey? Like, you could play it in the club and people will go crazy. Wow, I want tequila.
Yep. That's dope, man. Yeah. I mean, I think with these times too, we need some like those reminiscings and all that stuff. So we
yeah,
and it is good for you. I think you pulled it off. You got the voice, bro. You're like,
thank you, man.
A lot of people can't do that, and I think
it's hard. I got to tell you, bro, it was really tough for me to record a mariachi song. It wasn't easy.
Okay.
It was not easy at all. It was probably one of the most challenging works that I've ever done throughout my career, recording a mariachi, because mariachi has different times.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a swing to it, and in some cases you gotta. It's about the emotion. It's about the sadness that you put into the song.
Yeah, you gotta feel it.
You gotta adapt. Yeah. In a mariachi song, you cannot sing it with no heart. Like, you gotta have a heart that is feeling every single lyric that you're singing.
Right.
So, it was challenging because of the tempos, challenging because of how certain notes were really high. But man, I loved every minute of it. Recording La Farsante, recording Fallaste Corazón. And then the boleros, man, not to mention the boleros, Cien Años, which is a very classic song.
Yeah.
Fallaste Corazón is also from Pedro Infante and Cuco Sanchez. Yeah. But Sabor a Mi was another one that I enjoyed recording, because it was something that I used to listen to a lot when Luis Miguel, I'm a big fan of Luis Miguel, when Luis Miguel recorded it for the first time on the album Segundo Romance.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also have to mention too that the whole concept of this album, I haven't really mentioned it much on other interviews, but I got to mention it now, because it was also a humongous take of Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt had an album called Canciones de mi Padre. This album is called Canciones que Recuerdo. So it's a take on what she did. And mind you, Linda Ronstadt is also a Mexican-American female artist.
Yeah.
And had a lot of hits, right, in the R&B pop world. Never got a Grammy for any of those songs. But she got a Grammy for Canciones de mi Padre. Go figure.
Yeah.
And it was the first album that's all entirely in Spanish that ever won an American Grammy. Wow. And was ever even nominated like that for an American Grammy. So she was the basically the Kickstarter of the Mexican American artist being recognized in the music standards, talent and globally with that album Canciones de mi Padre, and got the Grammy for it.
Amazing. So, amazing. And you are too. You are one of those artists, Mexican American artists, that have made an impact in Anglo music. I would say. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's been a blessing to do pop R&B and be recognized for it. And I've even heard some say that that it's also helped open doors for a lot of these other urban artists that are right now in this
100%
doing what they're doing, because it wasn't always seen, in the urban side.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see, me going to the BET Awards, going into the MTV Awards, doing the Regis and Kelly shows or Regis and Kathleen shows, which rest in peace, Regis. He was an amazing man. Doing the Jimmy Fallon shows, doing the Jay Leno shows back when Jay Leno was on the Tonight Show. And I remember doing all those shows, man, and being in front of the limelight and doing, just following my dream, and conquering and fulfilling it.
You came out during a time that everybody would think of if a Mexican American person came out with music, they will automatically tag it as like Chicano hip hop.
Right.
At the time, you came out at that time where it was like, it was only that, and that's all you did,
That was it.
So when you came out, it was like, oh shit. Like, what is this?
They're like, what is he? Is he Puerto Rican? Is he Cuban?
Yeah.
Is he Dominican? Is he Filipino? Is he Mexican? Like, nobody knew who, the ethnicity. And I remember when I first came out with the album cover for What's a Man to Do, which was the album that was first done with Columbia and Sony after leaving the group.
Yeah.
My picture doesn't really quite, I guess paint the picture of me being full Mexicano. A lot of people thought I was mixed with something,
Yeah.
And until I started doing interviews and I started telling, the reporters and the media and the press, it's like, no, I was born in Tijuana. What? In Tijuana? What do you mean? That's where everybody goes to party. I remember I have crazy nights in Tijuana.
Yeah.
Like, crazy, man. I was born in Tijuana at this little hospital called El Emergencia. And I only lived in Tijuana for about, 4 or 5 years and then moved to San Diego. And that's how it all came about for us. And,
definitely. And that's why I say, like, your music and your artistry has been like, as a legendary story, because I mean, like I said, at that time, there was only one sense. If you wasn't doing like Puerto Rican reggaeton and it was West Coast and you were Mexicano, you were straight Chicano rap, bro. And that's it.
And I think, it's funny that you mentioned reggaeton because I was in Puerto Rico in 2003 and it was the very first time that I had ever been introduced to reggaeton. I didn't know what reggaeton was.
Yeah.
I was singing ballads, doing shows out there in Puerto Rico with ballads and R&B music. And I was getting love out there. And I think my very first concert, I was invited. It was Don Omar. Wow. Don Omar's, I think it was the El Coliseo in Puerto Rico. I think it's called El Coliseo.
Yeah.
Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
and he invited me to go perform Don't Want to Try, Ya No Es Igual, in Spanish. And I remember meeting, I met Tego Calderon there. I met, of course, Don Omar. I met Daddy Yankee. I met Wisin y Yandel. I want to say it was Wisin y Yandel at the time. And I met Ivy Queen. I basically met all the reggaeton roster of artists that were coming out of Puerto Rico at the time.
Yeah.
And it was my very first time learning about reggaeton. Mind you, Don't Want to Try was already a smash top 10 record in 2003, in the beginning of 2003. So we were already doing our promo tours and doing doing everything that we needed to do to get the word out, that my album, What's a Man to Do, was out. And then come back in 2004, full circle, boom, that's when Obsession comes. No, Sugar comes out.
Okay.
Becomes a huge smash. And then towards the end of 2004, Obsession comes out, becomes a huge smash. And then Daddy Yankee comes out with Gasolina.
Mm-hmm.
And so now people were thinking that I was Puerto Rican because they were saying that they were always confused, I guess the appearance, the image, because I would always wear my baseball caps tilted to the side, like how I wear I wear it tilted to the side. And I think Daddy Yankee was also kind of using that kind of image during that time. I remember walking in the airport. I think it was in Miami. I want to say it was Miami or New York. And somebody said, Daddy Yankee. No, it's a Frankie J. Like the way that they would talk, No, it's Frankie J. Pero Daddy Yankee. Where's Daddy Yankee? Oh, it's Frankie J.
Wow.
So it was a cool, cool moment, during those years that, again, it was like a big old family. It's like the images were almost quite identical of how we would dress,
Yeah. And I mean, and speaking of like, man, we could go forever. I feel like I could talk to you for times, but like, speaking of like, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just like, I'm just thinking like, you were talking about Obsessions, and at that time, it was what, 05, I think. Yeah.
There was 05.
But Aventura, they did their version too.
Aventura. Yes. That record. Okay, check this out. I met Aventura. I met the guys, right? Romeo, Henry, Lenny, and Max.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4 guys. I met them in a city while I was on tour, on my promo tour, with Don't Want to Try. This was in 2003. I met them, I want to say it was either in Connecticut or... Man, I know it was definitely in the East Coast. And they were doing something at some club, and I showed up, and we had a conversation about, we're big fans of yours, man. Thank you for, holding it down for us, for the Latinos. Bro, we got a group called Aventura. You got to check us out. And they gave me their CD. They're like, man, I think it was Lenny that said, my cousin, because he's cousins with Romeo. He goes, Romeo's a big fan of yours, bro, but he's too like scared or shy to come up to you, man. He's somewhere over there sitting in the car. He was somewhere sitting in the car. I don't know if he was sitting in the car or waiting for these guys to give me the CD. And so, long story short, man, I met the guys, amazing guys, and of course they have huge success now.
Yeah.
But they gave me their CD, and then we took a picture. I want to say we took a picture, and then we said bye and everything. And then, maybe a year and a half later, I don't even know what happened to the CD, to be honest with you. I think I put it in my bus, and I never paid attention to it. I never heard it. A year later, my manager comes up to me and he says, I got a song for you. I think it's going to be a smash for you. And I'm like, what song is that? So he shows it to me. Now, mind you, I had no idea what bachata music was. This was my very first time learning about bachata.
Okay.
And in the very beginning, like, you know, me, I'm always about voices. I'm always about vocals. I'm always about, like, you know, all that stuff. So when I first heard it, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed because bachata to me was like something not out of, you know, space. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
So then I hear the song and I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, man, this is corny stuff, man. Like it doesn't sound like it's me, you know? But lo and behold, he told me, he goes, you know, the corny stuff that you're talking about was already a #1 record. This bachata song was #1 in I don't know how many countries. So I'm like, get the heck out of here. And he goes, yeah, it's already #1 in bachata, you know, in some of the Latin countries and in, you know. So he goes, but I think if we do it with your style, with an R&B twist to it, and add your own fusion, rewrite some of these lyrics, he goes, we can probably have a hit here. So I tried it, right? The very first time we tried it, Happy P produced the track, but the track was super, super rockish because Happy is a heavy metal guy, hard rock kind of guy. He loves rock and roll. And I remember when he first did the drums to it, they were like super hardcore. And I was like, no, I don't know if it's going to work. So anyway, he finally, you know, does what I wanted him to do to the track. I recorded the song. I rewrote some of the lyrics and added my fusion to it. Bro, when we first heard it mixed and mastered, we were blown away. We were like, I think you're right. This is it. So the song came out. Now, Aventura during those days, they were also trying to figure out what they were, you know, they were still putting out their music.
Yeah.
But nothing like that was huge, you know. They were still doing, they were doing what they were doing in their genre in bachata.
Yeah.
But they were slowly, you know, gradually coming up. When this song came out, it helped them a lot on the publishing side. Romeo made probably a good mill when it comes to that, you know, probably $1 million or maybe $1.5 million. But it helped me as well. And I thank him, you know, for allowing me to be able to use that song and do my thing to it.
Okay.
We sold 1 million records with that album.
Man.
We sold 1 million albums and we sold probably about 2-3 million in the singles. And that was kind of another way of me keeping myself, you know, consistent because we had
relevant.
Don't Want to Try. Mm-hmm. We had Sugar Sugar. Those were 2 big smashes in the English world.
Yeah.
And Don't Want to Try also had success, huge success on the Latin side.
Of course.
So we were doing both English, Spanish. And then when Obsession came out, it was the perfect blend, the perfect touch of English and Spanish. Mm-hmm. That was who Frankie J was, you know, and brand. So it mixed in well. And then the rest was history. So it was great.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I've never knew that. I was just like, yo, we have this bachata one version. I got the Frankie J version. I fuck with these versions. We got the reggaeton version. Like, yo, like the Spanglish version. Like, man, like
there's so many versions out there.
So many good versions. You know what I'm saying? But, hey,
everything for everybody. There's always something for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's how it all kind of went down. And you know, we just continued. We continued bringing out some hits, and we just wanted to, you know, stay consistent and stay idle to our fans. And of course, I owe it to, of course, to everybody that was a part of the team while we were in promotion for these albums.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't for them, like, you know, the record label and of course management and everybody that was working the radio side, they were really pushing hardcore, man, for me.
Yeah.
It was the days that I needed that push, because that's what's helped me to this day remain, you know, idle to the fans.
Yeah. So speaking of staying consistent, like just fast forward now to what we got going on. You got a session live, a live performance coming on July 31st. Talk to me about that. That's this Friday.
This Friday, it's my very first virtual concert show celebration of my music, the hits that you know. that the fans know, and I'm going to be doing them all acoustic.
Wow. Okay.
I'm doing them all on piano, just piano and guitar. It's like when Prince went out and did just piano and guitar tour, and it was all acoustic. This is what we're going to do July 31st. And this is my first time ever doing anything like this. So I'm very excited about it because I've been full time at rehearsal, going over even a couple of songs that I haven't performed in a long time on piano.
Right.
Now, I have 3 musicians that are going to help me for this show. Adrian, who's also going to be part of the piano, that's going to help me on keys. Andy, who's been my guitarist for now, 15 years. And this guy, Gio, who just started with me. He's only been, on playing some of my shows for about 2 months. But he's a great guitarist. He's all about boleros and the mariachi stuff. So he's going to be helping me with that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing basically Obsession, Sugar Sugar, Don't Want to Try, More Than Words, Daddy's Little Girl, Take a Chance on Me, Si Una Vez.
Timeless records.
Every single record, we're doing it acoustic on piano and guitar. So we're just going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. I want to invite everybody to come and hang out with me July 31st on Friday. All they got to do is download the app, which is a company called Sessions Live. And the actual link to go direct is sessionslive.com/Frankie J official. That's the link. And the first 100 people get in free, which I got word that I think it already sold out.
Damn.
So now we're now waiting for just more people to come in so they could see. And mind you, this is a worldwide thing. It's not just one city, one state, one country. This is all 7 continents. So, it's at 7 p.m. Pacific time here in San Diego, or California time, West Coast time. If you're in the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock. If you're in the Central time area in Texas, it's 9 o'clock. And if you're somewhere in London, I think you're probably going to catch it like at, I don't know, at night or maybe in morning.
Morning, I think morning or something like that. Midday or something.
Something, yeah. And so, it's a great opportunity for me to finally, get to do something live for my fans.
Yeah.
They've been asking, when are you going to perform? When are you going to perform? And I mean, it's tough for us right now because we can't really travel like we want due to our situation. But yeah, this show, this virtual show, it's going to be my first one with Sessions Live, and July 31st, 7 p.m. Pacific time, Friday.
Can't wait. I'm going to be tapped in for sure.
Yeah,
tapped in for sure.
Tap in.
I'm going to try to tap in. I know it's sold out, so I'm going to try to finish my way in there.
Yeah, well, they sold out only on the first 100 people. I think what they're doing is they want to, it's like the first 100 people get in for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I think it's like $2.99.
Let's do it.
Depending on what you want to get, like you can go all the way up to like $49.99 or like $10.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a great show, man. I'm excited about it.
Can't wait.
And it's gonna be fun.
I can't wait, man. Honestly, I've had a blast talking to you. I'm gonna let you go because I think I could talk to you for a while. I got more things, but we got
man.
What can we expect for the rest of the year? Like some more music?
The rest of the year.
What we got?
Well, right now I'm in the studio and I'm just recording a bunch of songs, man. Like they're songs that I'm working on with my son, because my son also now produces.
Okay.
He actually does better than me in the production side. Like he has all these tricks up his sleeve now.
He's teaching you now. He's teaching you the game.
Man, he's teaching me now. He's teaching me. And, so I'm working with him and I'm just doing stuff on my own too. And I have a couple of projects in the works. One with Baby Bash. We have a song called Tears on My Heart. We just shot the video to it in LA about a week ago. So stay tuned to that. That's going to be really cool. It's got like an oldies fusion vibe. We wrote the song in Dallas, Texas at one of the, one-stop shops that we did out there in one of the shows. This was back in like February, I think, when we did it. And then I have another record that I'm going to be recording with a very good friend of mine named DJ Kane, who was also my colleague on the Cumbia Kings.
Yeah.
He hit me up to be a part of this project that he's doing. So we're doing that. And what else, man? Man, I got a record with Mellow Man Ace.
Okay.
Mellow Man Ace.
Yeah.
Venenosa, con su lengua venenosa. So me and him got together and did a song together. And what else? I mean, I'm just in there trying to trying to connect the dots, you know, and trying to, come up with some cool ideas, cool concepts and songs and all that good stuff. I do have a record that came out in June. It's called, oh my gosh, it's called Woman, One Woman. And I wrote the song. My son produced it. So if you want to check it out, it's on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's all on all the digital platforms. It's called One Woman. It's doing really well for me on the data side. So yeah, man, we're just in there recording and trying to put all these different ideas together.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear my music. I'm excited to see you live on Sessions Live app on Friday. Once again, thank you for your time, bro. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate
and
the
like
love.
I said, the music, timeless. Like it's an honor. Like for real, it's an honor just to be able to chat with you today.
The honor is all mine, bro. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for your time, bro. And thanks to you guys, man. You guys, keep me out there and idle to my fans, and for giving me the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing to reach out to masses, man. I appreciate that.
Dope. Thank you, man. This is the Check-In right here on Ritmo Cultura, DC. That's the legend Frankie J. We out.